The man watched the world stretch and blur as it pushed its way past him out of the train window. Drops of rain suffocated the view. The windows steamed up with condensation from the stuffy carriage. He stared aimlessly out of the window, his eyes focused on absolutely nothing and everything at once. He tried to listen for the sounds of the rain, but they were drenched by the rumbling train engine that swallowed them up. He felt at peace with the rain. Sun and heat left him feeling cold, like memories of a past life he'd sooner forget. A tall man walked through the otherwise empty carriage, interrupting his reverie. The man had slicked back greasy hair. He took long, purposeful strides and spoke in loud, unashamed tones into his phone, which he held out in front of him. He faded out of view, his loud voice lingering until silence returned. He returned his gaze to the window, back to the world he understood. He stared absently at trees that showed signs of returning leaves. He sighed and sipped his coffee. Cold. He went on drinking as if the temperature of his drink made no difference at all. The coffee tasted like burned leaves and earth. He fiddled with the now empty cup in his hands. He thumbed the corrugated cardboard nervously. He let himself remember where he was heading. A stab of pain pierced his head, and he rubbed at his temples. When he opened his eyes again, it was dark. The carriage lights flickered and danced. An empty blackness absorbed the train window. When the train re-emerged from the long tunnel, the light stung his eyes. He found himself craving the darkness. He grabbed an old jumper from his bag and wrapped it over his face. He could hear the muffled conversations of passengers fade in and out, like ships passing in the night. With the outside world shut away, in his darkness, he thought of her. But, try as he might, he couldn't remember her face. She stared at him, looked deep into him, with features that warped and changed, like passing shapes out of a train window. His heartbeat quickened. He threw the jumper off his head. It landed in a heap on the floor by his bag. He peered back out of the window, trying to work out where he was. The blurred objects now passed from right to left. Had it been that way before? He sipped at his piping hot cup of tea. It burned his tongue. He saw a figure sat a few rows in front, but couldn't make out their features. He returned his gaze to the window and tried to focus on his own reflection, wondering if that too would be unrecognisable. He heard the sound of a voice on the tannoy system. He couldn't understand the words. He sank into his chair. The light disappeared. Another tunnel. He was plunged into darkness once more. He felt strangely content. A part of him hoped that the light would never return.